Hey guys, so I'm here at the very last stop of the JavaScript tours around the US. I'm in Atlanta, and there's lots of videos of me in cars in the channel, but I could not miss this opportunity. I have this amazing guy. So I'm here with Vincent. Hey Vincent, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. So if you don't know Vincent, you're out of the Java community. No, there's no way you don't know Vincent. But if you don't, Vincent is a Java champion, and he runs the Dev Nexus conference. He's been doing so many things. He actually, I learned this last few days that he does a lot of other events, and who works for Neo4j right now. And so Vincent, how is running DevNexus? DevNexus is one of the most important events in our community, right? So how is that? How is running that event?
It's interesting, and as the Chinese say, or there's an ancient Chinese curse that says, "May you live in interesting times." So
yeah.
Forgive me if I don't look at the camera too often.
Don't worry, don't look at the camera. That's okay. Yes.
But it is. It's actually quite an honor to do it. I had never run a conference before. I did it the first time. I joined the board of the Atlanta Java user group in 2008 or 9, I can't remember which. And I'm the business guy, and they're like, "Well, you run the conference." So I'm like, "Well, how do you run a conference?" So you need a venue. Well, we had the venue because we'd done it there before. So you need the venue, you need a contract with the venue, you need to figure out AV, you need to figure out speakers and sponsors and catering and Wi-Fi and electrical and swag and tickets and lanyards and badges and blah, 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 on and on and on and on. So I just kind of fell into it, and I've been doing it ever since, I guess.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. And DevNexus has one very important thing that maybe most people don't see, but I think it's amazing what the Atlanta JavaScript group does, is that the DevNexus congregates I'm going to say hundreds of JavaScript groups leaders from all over the world, right? Many people come here. There's a big JavaScript group meeting that happens the day before the event, and it's a very special moment that the community can come in and have conversations and have discussions and think about the future. So thanks a lot, Atlanta JavaScript group, for doing this.
Yeah, of course, man. And it started out. I used to work at Oracle, and I ran the Java Champion program at Oracle for a couple of years. And we would have a gathering every year at Java 1, or Code 1 rather, the day before, and bring in Java champions from all over the world that can make it, that were speaking or that were coming. And we'd have a day of sessions, and we'd have product updates from Oracle, from the people that were building the JVM and the language, a sneak peek into what was going to be talked about in the keynote, and we'd have some technical sessions that people would either submit or that came from Oracle. But the main thing was we got to hang out with each other. Now, a lot of the folks that are Java champions tend to speak at conferences around the world, and we do see each other in dribs and drabs and small groups occasionally at some of the major events, but never with as many people as in the group that gathered for the Java Champions Summit at Java 1. And I thought to myself that was probably the most valuable part of the summit.
I agree.
To get all these people that don't normally see each other together for a day of conversations, of fellowship, of community, and a big party at the end. So when it came to DevNexus with the Java user groups, we decided that as well as running a Java Champion Summit, we would also run a Jug Summit, a Jug Leader Summit, Java User Group Leader Summit, to give people that run these organizations the opportunity to gather and share war stories and best practices and have a conversation. Because normally these folks wouldn't get in the same room. And over the years, people have come from all over the world to participate in this day, or this half day that we put on. And it's been great to see it evolve.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you mentioned, let's kind of change subject a little bit for the discussion we were having yesterday. And I'm very grateful for Vincent. Vincent was an amazing host, right? So he's been, he picked me up at the airport yesterday, and he showed me his house and his family, and for me, I think it's so special when you get to actually know people not only at the events, but actually, for me, I always say this: the most special part for me is meeting the families, right? So the people that I know, because that's when you really know who they are and really get close to who they are. So thanks a lot, Vincent, for all that.
Course.
But
Pleasure.
that brings me to the topic of, you're talking about the Java champions meeting each other and Jug leaders meeting each other. And that brings the familiarity, right? For us to do things together, for us to actually trust each other, we have to get close somehow, right? So we have to do some significant things together, right? And so, how do you think that familiarity and trust plays in our careers right now?
Well, it's really interesting, the dynamic that you have when you meet people. There's in the Pashtun is a region of Afghanistan in the mountains between Afghanistan and Pakistan, I guess. There's a saying in Pashtun culture where they say the first cup of tea you have with someone, you're a stranger. The second cup of tea you have with someone, you're a friend. The third cup of tea you have with someone, you're family. And what this talks to is this dynamic, this relationship dynamic that changes diametrically over time, over 3 meetings. And in our context as software people interested in software technology, but we could be in a book club or a chess club or something like that. When you get a group of people that are all passionate about the same thing, gather together, and you meet someone with the same passions more than like 2 times, your relationship with that person changes diametrically. You become more like family. You become more comfortable with that person. You become more inclined to bring that person, into your life and into your family's lives and stuff like that. That doesn't happen after the first 2 meetings. It can't. It's just weird that way.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. And you think that this has an impact in career, right? So you're telling me yesterday, for example, that you never got a job by submitting a resume, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is something that developers kind of think that, I have to submit resumes and I don't get answer, I don't get calls. Actually, I had this question on the Houston Jobs group. I'm 17 years of career. I'm sending resumes and I don't even get a phone call right back. And so what is your experience in terms of changing job? Because you work in some of the most amazing companies and the most amazing. I mean, you're in Neo4j right now, and you work in some, and you just said that you work for Oracle. You run the Java Champions program. Those jobs are dream jobs for people, right? So, how do you get them?
Well, again, I've tried over my career sending out a resume and applying for a job where I didn't know anybody. And I've been through the interview process, but I've never been the person that's been offered the job after the interview process. Not even one time in my entire career, which is, maybe I'm not that good at it. Okay, of course it does happen. People do send in.
That's what people think, right? That they don't get it because you're not good at it, right? But that's okay. So go ahead.
But there's so many variables there, and so many things that are outside of your direct control when it comes to applying to jobs. And you don't know how many hundreds of people have applied for this role. You don't even know if the role is real. Right. I've been in several situations where I've been in an interview process and we filled it internally. I've done it myself. I've been a hiring manager myself, or part of a hiring team where we have had internal candidates, but we've also interviewed external candidates, but the internal candidate was a better match at the end of the day. And, so whoever applied externally didn't get the job. But for me, it's all about being part of the community. That's how I've managed to push my career forwards, and just meeting people consistently over the years. And how do we do this as engineers? We go to places and mingle with people who have similar interests, user group meetings, whether they're Java or whatever else, it doesn't even matter, a technology area that you're interested in. Conferences. Conferences are, the interesting thing about conferences is a lot of the content, or nearly all the content and talks you will see at a conference, you can find it online. Usually, the same speaker as well.
Yeah.
But certainly, if not the same speaker, the same type of content. You can watch the content, but that's not the true value of going to a conference. Going to a conference gives you number one, an uninterrupted focus for like 2 days or 3 days when you're there. You're ostensibly you're out of your house. You're not watching it online and getting distracted by emails and phone calls and whatever else. So you kind of got this kind of uninterrupted focus where you can be in the moment and absorbed in learning the content that you're watching, and meeting and speaking to people. And we call it the hallway track, the conversations that you have between the sessions with someone that you just met. And those persons, for me, that I've just met, over the years have evolved into strong friendships with people that are from all over the world. And on a couple of occasions, those have led to a job for me, because I've met someone first at a conference or a meetup, and I've been in touch. Our relationships changed. We keep seeing each other over time, and eventually time and timing works out. I'm available, they have a role, and I get hired.
Right. That's amazing. Let's talk a little bit about conference, right? So you mentioned the highway track, right? And actually yesterday we had someone say, "Oh, is that a room?" Right?
Yeah.
So explain what the highway track is.
The hallway.
Hallway. Sorry, a hallway. That's
So,
my amazing English.
Yeah. It's your beautiful accent.
Yes.
The hallway track. There are tracks at conferences. Cloud native, Java platform, Java language, AI, whatever, agile, security. But the hallway track is really the conversations that you have between the sessions, when you're standing in line for coffee or for lunch, maybe at the conference reception with a beverage, talking to somebody that you've never met before randomly. And we're all geeks, so inevitably your real world use case of something that you're working on will come up in conversation, and the person you're speaking to may or may not have solved this, but they could have a perspective on it which you don't have. And just that new way of thinking about your problem could be more useful to you than any talk you went to that week. Right. Because some aha moment of someone having a different perspective on how to do a code migration or something in your stack and for your use case that you've never thought of before. And that could be the most valuable thing that comes out of that conference.
Right. And so just to be clear, guys, every time I talk about, that's going to the talks is not the most important thing. People ask, so why do we have the talks, right? I'm not supposed to watch any talks in the conference. No, that's not how it works, right? So the idea is you watch the talks because, as Vincent was talking about, you have this unique, calm, like focused side, right? So you can come, you can watch the talk, and then you can use the talk to have conversations, to go talk with the speaker, to go deep on it. So the idea is that don't just watch the talk, right? Because then you're missing out a big part of the conference. Is that reasonable?
It's absolutely reasonable. But the other thing is that you have to make an effort to do this, and you have to make an effort to do this consistently. It doesn't just happen by accident. And not everybody in technology is an outgoing, gregarious person. You don't have to be. But you just have to be cognizant of the fact that, hey, let me have a conversation with someone I don't know. And don't force it either. That needs to be also organic. It could just be eye contact with someone and a nod because you saw each other, and then you just start chatting about the talk you just went to. Oh, that was interesting. What did you think? Oh, that was interesting. Oh, I'm going to grab a coffee. You want a coffee? Absolutely, I'll have a coffee with you. And then all of a sudden you're talking to someone new.
Yeah. All right, so you just mentioned one magic word for me right there. You said, consistency, right? And we had a good discussion about consistency, and you have this unique perspective on consistency. So what is important consistency that you're talking about?
Well, engineers understand the term eventual consistency, okay? But I think in life, nothing of value will ever happen without intentional consistency. And that is really, really hard. Whether it's in your career, whether it's raising children, whether it's in a sport that you do, it doesn't even matter. You have to be both intentional and consistent to get any results. It's like saying, oh, I would like to learn Spanish. So what do? You start to go to, what are some of the apps?
Duolingo.
Duolingo. You start to go to Duolingo, and you do it for a couple of weeks, and then you stop. Why do you stop? Oh, you get busy, you go on vacation, blah, blah, blah. Life happens. I get it, life happens. But you become inconsistent, and then you don't progress. And all of a sudden, a lot of people give up.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of people give up before they actually have the results, right?
That's true.
And sometimes very close to results.
Yeah. And again, it's consistency over time that produces results in life. But it is extremely hard to do.
Right. Yeah. All right. So guys, this is amazing. Vincent, thanks a lot for your hosting here. Thanks everyone from the AJUG. This is the last stop here at the tour. We're getting to the airport now, so we don't want to miss. Vincent has a meeting, and I have a flight to catch. So thanks a lot. It was amazing to have you here. Amazing, thanks for being so kind, so generous to receive me, to support me on this. Thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome, my friend. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Okay. All right, guys. See you guys in the next one. Bye.